life, we can't govern ourselves. You know that? When our wives and none of us move and people are shouting and we're waving, if you are no longer there, if you see people, people say, who is this bad man? So you have to keep sanity in our heads, don't you? Don't you? So we need you alive. The government, therefore, needs to focus on health. I will show you how security will come, because security is greatly tied to peace. So you focus on health and ensure that people are healthy in terms of what they eat and how they eat and what hospitals they visit and the quality of doctors they see, the quality of medical medicine that they engage themselves in. Then after that, after you've dealt with health, you must deal with water. You must deal with what? Because a lot of people are dying of waterborne diseases. We must deal with water. When we deal with water, security will fall in place. Because as you deal with all these factors, it will create employment. Once employment is created, what happens next? That man that wants to rob won't find time to rob because he has his own job. I usually tell this story. I say, if all of us were working in Shell, would you find time to leave your office to go and rob? If all of us were working in Shell, would you find time to go and kidnap? So these factors, this issue of kidnapping and robbery, are just mere factors of redistribution of wealth. So I think we need to do that, and then we need to allow our people to choose their. When you allow the people to choose their leaders, the leader becomes more inclusive and will become more productive. Because at that time, he knows that there is time for hiring and there is also time for what? The time for hiring is when? After 4 years. So he governs in such a way that he will always return to you to ask for a renewal of mandate. If that leader, commissioner, president, permanent secretary, governor, if they don't govern well, then when they come, won't you deny them that? Won't you? We'll finish with government. On your own side, when you get educated, please stop collecting money for votes. Because when you collect money for votes, what have you done? You sold your conscience. And when all these things are in place, you can trek from here to the office of the governor and nobody will stop you. You know, in Nigeria, the kind of police protection we have is not community policing. I hope you know. We police individuals, the rich, and the community is left. The moment we solve these factors and have put in place, the moment we solve these factors, governors may not need much security. Because you must ask yourself the question, when we visit London, do we go with our security? That's because in London, the community is what? It's policed. So the police is seeing you. If anybody harasses you, they will arrest the person. But because we don't police our community here, we police individuals. By the time we hear of what is going on, one place they have been on fire, robbery, by the time they call all those who are policing individuals to go and fight that robbery, the man has done what? He has come. So I think that these are my very bad thoughts. They're not usually very... They're not usually very popular. I get spanked every day for these thoughts. And they accuse me of not being establishment. I'm pro-establishment after I'm part of all this. I said I'm part of it. I hope you know. I have never said I'm not part of it. And I promise you to leave you with only one story. And that story is that my children and I had reached an agreement that they will school here until they get a degree. But you know that in 2007, I was chased out of Nigeria. Remember? You remember? That I was chased out of Nigeria. No, I was. Then you're not a student of history. I was chased out of Nigeria by the then president of Nigeria, General Obasanjo, because I won primary and they didn't want me to be governor. If it were you, you would have been, okay, but don't be angry, I won't protest. I said, no, I was a student leader. I have always been a Marxist. I will go to court. So I went to court. When I went to court, they put my family under immense pressure that their lives were at stake. So I shipped them to UK and I remained in Ghana to fight the battle. And we reached an agreement. Children, if I win, you will come back to study here. If I lose, I will join you in the UK. So they went to school, primary and secondary. When I won, and I said, children, time to go, I said, too late, Dad. We're already there for my parents. So I've been very uncomfortable telling the world that my children are overseas, when indeed I'm preaching that our education institutions must be made competitive with any school overseas in such a way that the children of the rich and the poor must attend. May God bless all of you.
May you please rise to give our guest speaker a standing ovation. From River State to school in Elami International School, and they paid their school fees up front to 2014. Could you please put us ground for the governor? Thank you, sir. We now like to invite the chairman of the Governing Council.
Your Highnesses, particular honor to call on His Excellency General GCFR, Chair, Governing Council, Sustainable Development Studies, to deliver his graduating address. Your Excellencies. Distinguished governors here present, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Before I start my speech, I want to thank the guest lecturer, who, when I mentioned to him about this graduation, and I'm requesting him to come and give the lecture, he warned me 3 times. He said, Mr. President, I'm going to make you very uncomfortable when I deliver my speech. Well, Your Excellency, I'm not sure whether you have succeeded. Because I will say, you have said things the way they are. You have really set the tone for the purpose of this institute, that is conflict resolution. I want to thank you for this lecture. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed with a deep sense of humility that I express my profound gratitude to all of you who have come to honor our invitation on this graduation of the Institute. Excellencies, in my dual role as the initiator of this institute and the chair of the Governing Council, I warmly welcome you all to this morning graduation ceremony and graduation lecture. Today's occasion is a demonstration of the Institute's mission, which is to promote, I quote, to promote African conflict transformation and development methodologies and equip a core of African practitioners with the intellectual and practical skills to prevent and transform conflicts for sustainable development and human security in Africa, unquote. The Institute, AAIPSDS, will remain focused on its mission and mandate in the coming years in order to play its vital and strategic role as initiated in the motto of the Institute. which state that it will be continuously, in quote, a platform for transforming conflicts for human security and sustainable development within the shores of our nation and beyond, in quote. To the graduates, I heartily rejoice with the graduates of the Professional Diploma in Peace and Sustainable Development Studies, the class of 2008. I'm very delighted and proud the caliber of participants we have on this course. There are police commissioners, there are legislators, there are even professors who join this course. And this shows you the caliber of people that are interested in making peace and conflict resolution in our country. I congratulate you. Your hard work, the commitment of the faculty and the support of your family and sponsors has made today's extraordinary celebration possible. The values you learned at the Institute of commitment to excellence, transparency and accountability impact on people's lives. You must be a change agent wherever you find yourself and at the same time be objective. These are core values that sustain durable peace. A life of selfless service brings dignity and honor. You must therefore strive to take leadership in peace and development practice within our nation and beyond. Today, as you have been told, the Institute is graduating 35 graduates. You will say this is a small number, but small is indeed beautiful. This small army, excuse me, using my ability background, this small army of skilled mediators and development practitioners can positively impact our nation. In addition to those of you receiving professional diploma in peace and development studies, we are going to award honorary fellowship to 3 deserving governors of our nation, namely His Excellency, the Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, the Right Honorable Dr. Gabriel T. Soswan, His Excellency Owele Rokas Okrocha, who I must say before he even became the governor, he was addressing the issue of conflict resolution in terms of setting up educational centers, and the speaker emphasized the need for education. We want to thank Your Excellency for your endeavors. The last and not the least, of course, the host, the chief servant, the thermometer, the chairman of Northern Governors Forum. We are doing this with their past for peace and these trying moments in our national life due to security challenges that have posed a security threat to our peaceful existence. Each of these governors, in their own way, have brought peace not only to their state, but to the country as a whole. The chairman of this occasion told you his efforts in bringing peace with his neighbors. Amechi, His Excellency, undoubtedly has brought a lot of peace in his state and the neighborhood. I want to commend these gentlemen for the role they have played in bringing peace to the country. Having said that, let me now address briefly the current situation and challenges that is bedeviling our nation. First and foremost, there is no nation that can survive without peace. If there is no peace, there is no nation. If there is no peace, there will be no nation, and there will be nobody to educate, and there will be nobody to be giving us services. So it's absolutely necessary that we do all we can to maintain sustainable peace. The former United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Kofi Annan, noted that, I quote, "The prevention of conflict begins and ends with the promotion of human security and human development," unquote. Today, the cycle of bloodletting, the brutal termination of lives of innocent and defenseless Nigerians should not be tolerated and should not be allowed to continue. Your Excellencies, the lessons learned from the amalgamation of Nigeria to the Nigerian Civil War have shown that Nigeria is one indivisible nation. So it is our collective responsibility of all to join hands in bringing peace to this country. Last year, the Institute, in a peace forum held on the 15th March at Mezue Farms, identified poverty, youth unemployment, a dysfunctional educational system, corruption, misappropriation of public funds, among others, as issues that require urgent attention. I couldn't dwell more on this, considering what the chairman has said and also the rest of the chair. They all address this issue in their submission. Therefore, we need to review the strategies adopted so far to address the current security challenges. The path of dialogue is the most appropriate in this regard. We must, therefore, cooperate and address our problems. The government at all levels, the people. Within the crisis, though, the security personnel, sympathizers of the aggrieved parties, and the aggrieved must, for the sake of our future and that of our grandchildren and great-grandchildren yet unborn, we must resort to dialogue to solve this crisis. I believe this approach will yield huge dividends, and this will eventually lead to the restoration of peace, security, and development in our nation. Your Excellencies, currently, the Institute is being repositioned through the establishment of an endowment fund to fulfill its mission and mandate. We count on the support of well-meaning individuals and organizations to do their part of peace. Finally, I would like to thank all and everybody who has performed in one way or another to make the Institute a success. I cannot thank His Excellency, I wanted to say military governor. I want to thank His Excellency, the Chief Servant, for really being the backbone and pushing us on this initiative on the Institute. I would like to thank all the ambassadors, all the functionaries of government, and all the individual friends, comrades, mates, who have all turned out to honor our invitation. To the service chiefs, I want to thank you and all the security agencies for giving us a helping hand in running this institution. I think there is nothing more gratifying and satisfying to see that the number of trying to establish this institute. I want to thank you very much. The directors of the institute, please, if you are around, can I ask you to stand up to be recognized? Where are the directors? At the College of Education for harboring us and joining in this laudable initiative. I want to thank the press and everybody for giving us the support. Thank you.
May I please invite the Vice Chancellor, University of Jos, to come to the podium.
The co-host, you make amendments and form in this gathering. Always, and I mean all what we are doing, and gives the way forward and suggestions. I want to say thank you to a friend, a classmate, my former commander-in-chief, who happened to be my citizen when I was the head of state. Has now turned to the good old days. He was my head boy in school. So, Mr. President, I want to thank you for the support. We appreciate you. May you live long. Thank you.
Will the recipients of the Professional Diploma in Peace and Development Studies please stand?
And by the authority of the Senate of the University of Jos and the Academic Board of the Institute, I present to you persons standing and those absent for sufficient cause who have been found worthy both in character and in learning to be awarded the Professional Diploma in Peace and Development.
Give you all of those.
Congratulate you. Two messages, and then you confirm. We'll be coming back at the endowment after the conferment. Thank you.
Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, I have the General of Nigeria to deliver
His colleagues and compatriots, my friend, my brother, my boss, Abubakar. I was honestly taken by surprise, but like the soldier I was, he harassed me and forced me to come up here. But honestly, I want to congratulate you, General, for this occasion. I know when we were both growing, he has been a very passionate lover of peace. And he
has succeeded in concretizing his speaks volume of General Abdulsalami Abubakar's passion. I congratulate you. And for the students, I pray that you will have no cause one day to get involved in conflict situations. But your knowledge, things that you have learned here, are going to be of immense benefit to those who are going to come behind and those who are getting involved in conflict situations now. I also want to take a small opportunity. Governors Suswan, Amechi, and even though the OLA hasn't said anything, I know these three, and of course my governor, I've always admired sitting wherever they are. There are a lot of things to be done for young people, and they spend quite some time talking about education. I will be a witness to this. First of all, last year I was in Owerri. All I wanted to see was to be with Owerri on the 10th anniversary of his foundation, education foundation. And quite frankly, I was amazed. To qualify for acceptance in the college, your parents have to be poor. If they are rich, no space for you. And I found that very, very interesting. I found students, he showed me students from Niger State. Their parents were nothing, picked them up, and they became something. They qualified, a lot of them qualified. I think you're doing well. For Amechi, one of the things he did, not many people know also, he is a patriot. He chose certain schools in this part of the country and sent children from primary, from villages, sent them here, paid their fees from JS to SS, paid all, but he chose specific schools that have been recommended to him. Our school happens to be a beneficiary of Amechi's vision. And quite frankly, I believe that leaders can change events. You have to be a leader to make history. And I must commend these young governors. Amechi, Okorocha, Suswan, and of course, my one and only chief servant. Doing well in education. I commend and congratulate each and every one. Once more, General Abubakar, well done. Keep it up. Thank you.
Your Excellencies,
Let me deeply this afternoon appreciate my leader, the founder, initiator of this great project for humanity, General Abdulsalami Abubakar. God bless you. Let me also appreciate my boss, direct boss, in whom I'm well placed, General Badamasi Babangida. One thing I have seen in him is that he's aging gracefully. When I grow up, I want to be like him. The comrade, guest speaker, and chairman of Governors Forum. I never knew that Governor Mechi is now a comrade. My brother, the chief servant, the man who has English at the tips of his fingers. My Governor Suswan died. Your Excellency, Sierra Fathers here, ladies and gentlemen, our future excellencies, the future governors and future presidents of the Republic of Nigeria, God bless all of you. To God be the glory. Talking about this great institute, Abdulsalami Institute for Peace and Sustainable Development, it reminds me of our old national anthem, which says, Nigeria we held our own dear father's land, though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. I believe that Nigeria is a great nation. What we are going through today is what many nations who attain the level of greatness have gone through in the past before getting to the point of greatness. So I still believe, I'm a firm believer, that Nigeria will be one day be recorded as the greatest nation of mankind. The time will come, and the time is not far from now. Therefore, I want to urge all of us, there is no point tearing our shirts in the spirit of disunity. Let us come together and be our brother's keeper. Nigeria is a great nation, and the world has testified to that. And there's no nation bigger than Nigeria. I believe it. What we are seeing today is an apparent disunity which does not reflect any practical realities. It is like a little boy moving in a fast-moving train. When we are kids, and as you are driving in a train or moving in a train or car, you see the trees running, while actual sense you are the one running. That's what is called the apparent movement of the earth. Therefore, there's not actual disunity in Nigeria. It's an apparent disunity, which is arising from the emptiness of the gastrovascular cavity. Anytime the gastrovascular cavity or the stomach is not at peace, it quickly transmits wrong messages to the medulla oblongata. And that is why you think we are crazy. We're not crazy. It simply means that the stomach is not at peace. Therefore, as a nation, we must seek first the peace of the stomach if we must have the peace of the nation. Only 100 years ago, our founding fathers came together and signed a document agreeing that Nigeria will become an entity, a nation, indivisible, indissoluble. And we came up in our generation to pick this up. We must never allow this unity of Nigeria and the lack of unity of Nigeria go down in our own time and generation. It's our duty to bequeath to subsequent generation this candle or light of unity. Therefore, I want to make this appeal to Nigerians. There were one. One with the water that must sam. It's a new one. The Yodara. The Yodara, Akabari new one. She can never buy the Mabarasa. And I quite agree with the speakers who have spoken before, that when leaders are about to fail, watch their system in Nigeria. When leaders can no longer perform, they begin to tell us where they come from. But in London, nobody tells us where we come from. When I meet with Babangida Ali in Hilton Hotel or in London, we don't say where you come from. We hug each other as brothers. When we're playing football, we're about to win and one Kokano has scored, we all embrace ourselves. What is the meaning of disunity? It doesn't exist. Disunity in Nigeria is a creation of the political class for self-aggrandizement. The poor man in Sokoto is same thing as the poor man in Imo. They share common pains and common joy. Therefore, I'm not an apostle of rotation of presidency. I don't believe that power should be rotated. If you must rotate power, power must be rotated between the have and the have-nots. So if this 4 years, a big man rules, the other 4 years, let a small man rule. That is the true zoning. But if it's a zoning that when it comes to south-south, the big man there grab it. To the northwest, the big man grab it. It is not zoning. It is your Daraik zoning. Thank you.
Present, former President and former Head of State, distinguished Excellencies on the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. The chairman of this occasion, sir, before I give my goodwill message, I want to correct one slip of tongue that the chairman made during his opening speech. He made us sleep, not deliberately but accidentally, when he said the masters now turn slaves. So please take it correctly. He's referring to Fulanis are the masters. Thank you, sir. When I was sitting there, listening to the lecture being delivered by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of River State, I said to myself, if individuals like him, and also like the last speaker, that is Executive Governor of Imo State, can come here openly with this very august audience and bear their mind out, I think we're on the way to the right path, inshallah. When leaders stand to confess the ills and evil of their society, then the followers have nothing no alternative but to follow the correct path. And pray Almighty Allah to lead us along the correct path. As you all know, peace, they say, cannot happen without development, neither development can happen without peace. But first and foremost, we must have that peace of mind individually. As a family, as a community, as a locality, as a state, and as a nation. So pray Almighty Allah to give us peace of mind. We will love what we love our neighbors, we will love ourselves. We want good things for our neighbors, we want good things for ourselves. That individual love must be well established before we talk of community love, state love, and nation love. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide us, give us the wisdom and strength to have peace of mind, love each other, have concern for each other, and God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Academic Board, Professor Lim.
Courtesy of Abdulsalami Abubakar, Institute for Peace and Sustainable Development.
On behalf of the Institute and the College, I present this for your contribution as Father of the Day and for your contribution in making sure that the Institute
Next, the ambassador to the
give you this honor for doing your part in maintaining peace and assistance to our country. Congratulations. The college and the school and indeed the country wishes Mali as soon as possible to come back to normalcy. Congratulations. On behalf of the Institute and the College, I present to you for doing your part in promoting peace in the country and for affiliating in the Institute in teaching some of these topics. Thank you. Congratulations.
and finally.
Both. Mayor, on behalf of the college and the institute, I want to first thank you for hosting the college and for your contribution in doing what the institute is doing. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very distinct. It is therefore a record the apostle of peace and today of peace. Our very distinguished guests, I would like to invite the chief servant to respond on behalf of all the recipients.
I guess excellent. I think this is the first time you spoke on the soil of northern Nigeria, passionately and coming out with all the issues that I'm lucky we have been discussing. If out of 36, and I know we have many out there, if out of 36, 4 of us was the chairman of Nigeria's Governors Forum and the chairman of Northern Governors Forum and the deputy chairman of Northern Governors Forum and the chairman of the ABGA Forum. If the 4 of us can share this sentiment, can share the belief, then I believe we shall be able to change Nigeria for the better. And this is probably because at least 3 of us, we have only about 2 to 2.5 years to go. And my chairman, you have just had the announcement of what the Bureau of Statistics did. The first result came out in 2010. In 2010, Niger State came first with 43.8%. Now, with 33.6%. So I tabulated that if we continue with what we're doing, and we have a peaceful atmosphere, and we don't have people who go around to burn our buildings and houses, then we should be able to, by 2013, go down to 23. By 2014, go down to 13. And by 2015, by the time we're living, it should be just 3%. And if every state will continue to do that, because unfortunately, even though Niger State and Northern State came first, those who came last again are in northern states. So I believe that those things that we're saying we should continue to do. Education, agriculture, and infrastructure that we're given, we must continue to give. And why I commend the guest lecturer in particular, and these 2 governors, is that even though when Amici gets 40 billion, I get 2 billion. When Rochas get 25 billion, I get 2 billion. And the same thing with Benue, we are on the same pedestal with Benue State. But why I'm very, very happy with what they have been doing is that their predecessors before them had the funds, but they didn't do as much. So we know that Akwa Ibom, Delta, and Rivers have been really using the funds for the people. And for us, in a little way, what we do is to ensure that the MDGs, Millennium Development Goals, the suburb, and all other things that we do, like what many states have come to study, but I haven't had the result of our World Development Committee at the local level. But Rogers did his own and called it something else. He said fourth year or something. But the way he did it, too many people on the thing, so little money, too many people. It may not go down for the purpose. But what we did was to go down to the people to say, do your own thing. And then we cancel the school fees so that people can now divert that money to do other things. And I believe cumulatively, when you look at these issues, these are what has sustained us to be where we are in terms of the poverty index in this country. And I am happy that some of my colleagues during our last meeting actually asked what we were doing, and we emphasized this, but that they should be in tandem, so that you just don't do one thing and expect the result. It should be cumulative, and they should go together in what we do. And I'm happy, Roches, we have given him a certificate of occupancy because last 2 years he came over or sent delegation to say he wants to build that similar colleges that he has built elsewhere, which our father, our brother, and my real direct chairman, because he's still a member of the PDP, so he's not your direct boss. He's our direct boss. He applauded what you have done. This was before you became a governor. This was a foundation that you have established, and please continue to do so. And that is why on your behalf today, I'm thanking everybody who has come today, and particularly our other brother. When people said to me, there was one pastor who said that he predicts that I seem to prefer one to the other, and that I should retrace my steps. I said, they don't know. These two people that you see, they don't do anything without consultation. In fact, they came from the town to come and stay near one another so that as one is passing, they know what one is doing. So there is nothing, if you see one implementing a particular decision, it is because the two of them have agreed on the line of action. So there is no question of preferring this or leaving that one. If you make that mistake, when they confer, even the one you prefer will be on the other line. The special fund, sir, it has been passionate thing for Rotimi Amici. And I think it should go beyond education. For the northern states today, we should have special fund for education and economic development. Particularly that we have all established all the variables that we use today. We have established that poverty and hunger are actually the killer or the killers of peace. So if it is so, it means whatever else we do, we will not achieve our objective unless and until we are able to feed the people properly. And believe me, the poverty in some areas have gone beyond the routine administration. We must intervene seriously. And I remembered that one United States president, when he had an economic problem, what they did was to introduce what was called then the Marshall Plan for the whole country, dedicating some aspect. And I think in this case, if you pick education and agriculture and infrastructure in the northern part, within the next 5 to 10 years, we should be able to come out of the wood, and people will be able to really, will not be talking of peace and this, we'll be talking of development, because peace will be taken for granted. So on behalf of my colleagues who have been honored today, we thank the Institute and the College of Education. And even though we seem to have jumped one item, but I'm sure when I speak to my colleagues privately, we should be able to be the first to start the endowment fund. And because of what has happened, Niger State is donating the sum of 20 million naira as a part of the endowment fund. And we thank you very much for coming out today. Thank you. From River State. That is a consultation between Benue and Imo, and they are very, very close. Okay. Benue 10, Imo, is it 15? No, he's ahead of you. He has oil. Okay, 10 or 15? Okay, 10. So altogether now, the endowment fund has started with a sum of 60 million naira. Thank you.
most outstanding student.
The most outstanding students from Niger State. Isa Hassan Rachel.
Excellency General AA Abubakar, former head of state of Nigeria and the chair of the governing council of AAIPSDS, wavering commitment and support to the institute, and his untiring laudable efforts in peace building within and beyond the shores of our nation. I also want to extend my special thanks to the collaborating institutions, Niger State College of Education, Pan-African Strategic and Policy Research Group, and the Center for Peace and Conflict Management Studies, University of Jos, for their immense contribution towards the development of the institute. For ensuring the successful hosting of the first graduation ceremony of the institute. Finally, I want to deeply appreciate the efforts of the friends, colleagues
of this institution, Alhaji Yahya Muhammad Idris and Deacon Silas Sule, to thank Almighty Allah for His blessings as closing prayer.
So that is how Nigeria benefits. But if you see also the majority of the
Please remain seated.
Niger State, so we believe that they will also go into the system.
You only leave when the congregation has been declared closed.
So that is why we're encouraging issues like this, because they are meant for people who are already experienced, who are already working, who are already doing
Deacon Silas.
really can.
Thank you.